Welcome back to Crit and Crit. I'm Axion.
I'm Sit.
And we are continuing our discussion of Rumpelstiltskin by the Brothers Grimm. And our playthrough of Mario Adventure. Hey, I made it this time.
Huzzah.
Stupid fireballs. So, there's going to be one coming in from the side, isn't it? Oh, nope, just a bunch of fireballs. I thought I had it. So, Mario's got a bit of a journey ahead of him.
Doesn't he always?
Yeah. The thing is, Mario does this out of the goodness of his own heart, and possibly an underdeserved loyalty to the Mushroom Kingdom. Also, possibly because he's in a romantic relationship with the princess. That's... Nintendo's always been very dodgy about it.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest here. Mario spends a lot more of his time with Bowser. They take long drives together on Rainbow Road, trying to push each other off.
Now see, is that hanging out, or is that attempted assassination?
Okay, as a longtime fan of fantasy literature, I can guarantee that there are plenty of examples of the two rival assassins falling for each other.
I was about to say, those aren't mutually exclusive.
I mean, given the project that we're going to be doing after Rumpelstiltskin... Did you forget about that part?
No, I have not. Anyway.
You're the one who brought it up.
The point I was trying to make is that Mario's not here because anyone's telling him to be here. He chose to do this of his own accord because he's generally a good person and wants to help his princess.
Okay, I want to test something on this theory.
Hmm?
Okay, don't touch anything on the controller.
Okay.
Seems to me like it's not exactly Mario's free will, huh? Is it, Axion?
In-universe, you smart aleck.
I'm not really sure what you were expecting to come of this.
I was trying to set up the premise of today's episode.
Wheel of morality, turn.
Today, we're talking about... Well, at least in part, we're talking about being voluntold. I believe the term originated in military circles.
I'll Google it.
But it's widespread enough that even if that is true, I'm pretty sure almost everybody watching probably already knows what it means.
Yep, yeah, so just to clarify what I'm getting from dictionary.com, voluntold ups the irony by combining volunteer with told as in being told what to do. It is widely associated with the military and may indeed have its origins in military slang. So it's not fully confirmed, but I'm not going to question it. It's pretty likely.
Yeah, it's a reasonable conclusion.
Yeah, though, as many of us know, you can still be voluntold as a civilian.
Yes,
remember the optional mandatory overtime?
Yes. I got yelled at on at least a few occasions at my last job, including one point where my supervisor just straight up called me and told me, "Where did you go?" Or asked me, "Where did you go?"
I clocked out at my scheduled time. I'm sorry, did you not want me to do something else?
Yep, and the response was something along the lines of, "You are not to leave until you are given permission to go." She got replaced the next year, thankfully. She was my least favorite of the 4 different supervisors I had during my 10 years at that job. And I absolutely was not getting paid enough to deal with it.
I mean, are we ever? But yeah,
Not really, no.
voluntelling is probably a good way to sum up the poor main character in this, like the poor miller's daughter who's, oh, by the way, you can turn straw into gold. This was the first time I've heard of, cool, do this before sunrise or I'm gonna kill you.
Yep.
Which, you know, doesn't really give much of a choice.
Yep. So, we are primarily talking about the miller himself at the moment.
Military.
No.
Did the joke fall as flat as Mario right there?
So, we have different versions of the story, as is prone to happen with Grim Tales. And the most common one, and the one that I was most familiar with before we reread these in preparation for this playthrough, was where the miller brags to the king, because a miller is having a personal audience with the king for some reason. I'm sure it's, oh, he's the king of a small kingdom and he has to keep personal track of some of the local industries that are particularly important. I think we also faced a similar situation in Puss in Boots. Where there was also a king who was dealing directly with non-nobility on a surprisingly regular basis. But other than that particularity aside, we have a miller who is having an audience with the king, and at least in the first version that I read, it states that to glean the king's favor, he had this particular brag about his daughter that was essentially made up from nothing about her being able to supernaturally spin straw into gold. Which, if it's true, is, going to be incredibly impressive, but the king makes it very clear if it's not true, he's going to execute the poor girl. The one person in the room who hasn't done anything wrong.
Yeah, well, that tends to be how it goes. It's like, yes, I am in charge of this operation, so my peons will pay the penalty for me, and I will collect my spot bonus when I sell off the company I've tanked. And the rest of you, yeah, I don't care.
I'm going to kill this underling to show you what happens if you wrong me. Oh, it's you.
And I think probably more notable is not just the fact that the miller's daughter is forced into the situation, but what situation she's forced into. Because it touches on yet another very common theme of fairy tales, which is prove your worthiness by completing this impossible task. Because, as we know, spinning straw into gold, not physically possible!
Yep.
But it's a fairy tale, so the supernatural can happen, and idiomatically it can happen of like, I can take this dead-end business and turn a profit with it is kind of how we use it today. But that's not what we mean. We mean here is a spinning wheel. Figure it out.
Here's a spinning wheel and an entire room filled with straw. And each night, the room gets bigger and they're always full. Because every time it describes the next room in the story, it says, he takes her to another room, larger even than the last.
Yep. And yeah, like, this is obviously not the only story this ever happens in, but it is, I think, one of the better examples of it. Do this impossible thing, or you're gonna die. If you do the impossible thing well, you get to be royalty. Huzzah! And you can do this to other people. Isn't that what we always wanted? It's not. It's terrible.
It's the dream. I can't believe that worked. But yes, oh, so that's how you do that.
Yeah, and so the voluntelling with the impossible task gets worse when Rumpelstiltskin enters the picture because, well, to keep herself from getting killed from the first voluntelling, she's basically forced into a corner with, hey, give me anything valuable you have. Hope you got something, because, well, you're gonna die otherwise, so we might as well force you into this corner. Rumpelstiltskin is an allegory for the student loan system.
I hate how accurate that feels.
It's like, what are you gonna do? Not get the degree? Not try to save your skin with the only means possible?
Yay!
Huzzah!
I'm done with that world.
So ultimately, she made the choice to, offer the hypothetical firstborn that she doesn't have yet to save her life, but it was literally under pain of death.
It was the definition of a deal made under duress. And it says something that, like, this is why I describe Rumpelstiltskin as a little fairy creature. Because, like, you can't do this with, like, a devil contract, because those get negated if you do them under duress. I need to go to World 5? Yes. That was bad. But
yeah, I think the whole story is really just a tale of, like, what happens when you let irresponsible people in positions of power of any stripe, be it, I have the authority in the room right now, I have control over your life / the political control over your kingdom, being able to force people into a life or death situation where they have no choice but to participate, is the root of a lot of evils in society.
Yep. And if you really want to take the euphemism to the logical or the metaphor to the logical extreme, what is the expectations of society but just another method by which those in power force those they consider lesser than into a position where they are under duress to give the people in power their time, their money, their well-being, whatever you want to say about it, however you want to put it. Okay, you can't kill those guys with sliding. I learned a thing today. And you can just dress that up in whatever metaphor you like. Because it's always going to be something that is applicable. I really wish this animation wasn't so long. Yay! Got him.
Huzzah. But yeah, and in the end, it still is solved through voluntelling because, well, someone had to go out and find Rumpelstiltskin's name to save the now queen from the consequences of her father's bragging.
Yep, she sends out her agents and her rangers to look for any information that they can find about the strange little man, and has them searching for days on end, taking a census of essentially everyone in the kingdom to find out if there's any names she hasn't yet thought of and guessed. And the only reason that they stumble across the right answer is because one of these rangers, on his essentially heading home from working overnight, happened to decide, I want to go on a stroll in the forest on my break, and happened to be in the right place at the right time. And the story doesn't mention him getting any kind of special recognition or treatment from the Queen for happening to be the one to discover this. It's very much played as he's just doing his job. He leaves, and then Rumpelstiltskin shows up immediately afterwards for the next day's worth of guesses. And it's very much just played as this guy's just doing his duty.
Yep. But, yeah. Like we said, the entire story is people getting voluntold, and the actual instigators of the problems face basically no consequences, because even Rumpelstiltskin is kind of reacting to the initial impetus. He didn't have to get involved. But his only reaction is like, well, I, kind of screwed myself on this deal because I was saying my name very loudly where anybody who walked by could hear. And then he tore himself in half.
Yeah, I was about to say, and his response to getting caught, essentially, is to throw a temper tantrum so bad that he disembowels himself. That's not really a punishment so much as it is just... I don't even know what to call that.
If this was happening IRL, he'd probably be having a meltdown on Twitter. Let's just put it that way.
That's as good a way to put it as any.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. X.
No, it's okay to dead name Twitter.
He doesn't even own the copyright to X. How dumb can you get?
But yeah, anything else you want to add?
Nope, I think we kind of talked this one in circles.
Alrighty, then we will see you all next time.